The will to win is not nearly so important as the will to prepare to win. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Totally Unacceptable. This is the podcast that calls out what holds us back in leadership, in culture, in ourselves. In season 1, we exposed toxic workplaces, weak leadership, and behaviors that create dysfunction and mediocrity. And we're still going to do that. But in season 2, as I said in episode 1, we're turning the focus inward. Because sometimes the unacceptable, it's not just what's out there. It's the habits, mindsets, and excuses we let slide in ourselves. This isn't just about exposing the problem. It's about demanding better in leadership, in culture, and how we show up. This season, we're confronting the behaviors that keep you playing small. And we're done sugarcoating it. If you want to level up your career, your leadership, your impact, you have to start thinking and acting differently. No more waiting. No more excuses. No more playing small. And today we're going to talk about the epidemic of playing small. So let's get into it. I believe playing small is the silent career killer. And the worst thing, it's self-inflicted. I'm going to tell you exactly why that is totally unacceptable. After 20 years of leadership and now coaching and seeing both sides of this story, I can tell you that people who move up, who make impact, who change the game, they aren't always the most talented. They aren't the luckiest. They are the ones who absolutely refuse to play small. You see, I think there's two kinds of paths one can take when they start their career. There's the passive path, and then there's the intentional path. So let's break both of them down. The passive path. You come in every day and you do your job. And you wait for the promotions to come your way. You assume that your hard work alone will get you noticed. And you let the company shape your future. And then there's the intentional path. You still come in every day to do your job, but you also intentionally build relationships, speak up for opportunities. You create impact beyond your job description. And you shape your own future. You take control. Both paths start the same way. Two people walk into a building to start their jobs, but one takes the passive path, one takes the intentional path, and a few years down the line, one leads to influence and fulfillment, the other to frustration and stagnation and regret. And the worst part, most people don't even realize they're on the wrong path until it's too late. Now, here's the good news. If you've been walking the passive path, you can switch today. No permission needed, no waiting required. But first, you have to stop lying to yourself, because there's a belief that I think keeps people playing small. It's the biggest lie people tell themselves. I'm not ready. I see it all the time. Smart, super capable, experienced people holding themselves back, waiting for permission, waiting for the perfect moment, waiting to be 100% ready, whatever that means. The truth is, opportunities don't wait. And when your moment comes, you won't have time to get ready. You'll either be prepared or you won't. But don't confuse preparation with perfection. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to have done the work so when it's time to step up, you trust yourself and go. But that brings me to the most important part. We don't know when that next opportunity is going to come. And if we are serious about playing big, about taking the intentional path, we're taking all sorts of actions to increase the likelihood of opportunity showing up. While we're doing that, We are preparing. That doesn't mean we're going to be 100% ready, but that means we are doing the best we can with the time we have to be as prepared as possible, to be as ready as possible, so that we're not just waiting for the moment to arrive to start getting ready, but we have been doing the work all along. So when it shows up, we have the confidence that we can handle it, that we have the confidence inside us to handle any opportunity. Vince Lombardi, regarded by many as one of the greatest NFL coaches of all time, once said, "The will to win is not nearly so important as the will to prepare to win." Let me say that again so it really sinks in. The will to win is not nearly so important as the will to prepare to win. Because championships, they're not won on game day. They're won in the weight room, in the film room, in the early mornings when discipline separates the elite from the rest. Tom Brady, who at this point has become world famous for all of his successes on the football field, winning championship after championship. Most people know him because of those achievements. Super Bowl champion of the New England Patriots, and then again at the end of his career with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's how people know him. But most don't know his full story. You see, Tom Brady wasn't the most talented quarterback. He wasn't the strongest. He wasn't the fastest. He wasn't even a top draft pick. He was picked 199th overall. He was supposed to be a backup, but he prepared as if he was a starter. He prepared as if he was already the starting quarterback. So when his moment came, and it did come, the number one draft pick for that particular team, the New England Patriots, ended up going down with an injury. And Tom Brady's moment came, but he was preparing for it. And he stepped up, and he never gave that job back. Most people, they are just not ready when that moment comes. They think, hey, I'll just rise to the occasion. But let me say this and say this loud and clear. People do not rise to the occasion. They fall to the level of their preparation. Once again, you don't rise to the occasion. You fall to the level of your preparation. So here's the real question. What work are you doing right now before anyone's watching? Because when the moment comes, it will be too late to get ready. Let me tell you all a personal story. Early on in my career, the early days, sitting there on the desk as an executive assistant, doing everything I could to make myself known, show my capabilities, take on much more work than was ever in my job description. I'll never forget the day I was sitting there amongst my peers, other assistants, and one senior person after another was just asking me if I could do this. Can you do that? Can you do that? Are you sure you can do this? Would be great if you can do that. And I just kept saying yes, 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 yes. I had no idea how I was going to do it all, but I knew I was going to get it done. And I remember as I was taking on all this work one day, the colleague to my left noticed that one senior person after the other just kept bombarding me. I noticed him shake his head. And I looked over, I said, "What?" And he said, "You're your own worst enemy. And you're flying too much in the radar. Everybody is saying your name. Everybody knows who you are. The minute you mess up, you're out of here." He goes, "You got to be like me. I've been here a long time and I'll be here a long time. I fly under the radar. I don't want people talking about me. I don't want people knowing my name. I want to fly under the radar." And I turned my head, looked at my screen as a young father trying to make my way. I certainly didn't want to put myself in a position to fail, put myself in a position to risk my job. And so I thought for about 15 to 20 seconds about what he was saying, and then I shook it off because that attitude is playing not to lose. And I was not playing not to lose. I was in this to win. When you're in it to win, you take the risks, the calculated risks, you bet on yourself and your work ethic and your abilities and your willingness to learn and your willingness to roll up your sleeves and your willingness to just get after it. And if you failed, you failed, but it would not be because you didn't go for it. I was playing to win. I was going to get in the arena. And whatever scars came along with it, that's what happened. But at least I would learn, at least I was trying. I'm not going to live life in fear of failure. Now, in my case, it worked. I ended up having a wonderfully successful career. And interestingly enough, my colleague who was flying under the radar, playing it safe, He wasn't there very long. Because if you're not making an impact, yeah, you might be quiet. It might be harder to find you. But if you're not making an impact, it's easier to part ways. You want to make yourself undeniable. Playing small is a choice. And it's the most expensive choice you're ever going to make. The difference between those who rise and those who don't, it's not talent. It is the decision to stop waiting. If you've been playing small, it should end today. No more waiting, no more permission, no more excuses. You either put in the work now or you'll regret it later. So let me ask you, what skill should you be building today? What work should you be putting in before you need it? What are you doing right now to ensure that when your moment comes, you don't hesitate, you dominate? Because the ones who win, again, not the most talented, not the luckiest, they're the ones who are ready. The only question left is, will you be one of them? I hope this episode hit home. And if it did, do something about it. Don't just nod your head, act. I do hope you enjoyed this episode. If you want more, subscribe to my newsletter, The Firestarter. I provide weekly doses of bold, actionable leadership insights in just 3 to 5 minute reads. And also connect with me on LinkedIn. Almost every day, I break down leadership and career growth strategies in a way that actually moves the needle. And remember, waiting is a choice, and the best never wait. Until next time, my friends, stay inspired.